Hello, everyone. Welcome to the You Are Mark on the World show. We're excited. Today we have from Israel with us Oren Gampel. He's the CEO of the Packet Project. This is a very cool blockchain project for delivery of packages. This is exciting stuff, actually, so stick around.
Welcome to the Your Mark on the World show with your champion of social good, Devin D. Thorpe.
Oren, welcome to the show.
Hi, Devin. Thank you very much for having me.
I'm really interested in what you're doing. Certainly, I've reviewed your white paper and some of the information you've provided to me in advance, and it seems like this is a much needed, well thought out idea. Tell us about what the Packet Project is.
So the Packet Project is a project that tries to take one of the most fundamental things in the world, package delivery, right? And create a platform that allows to do it in a decentralized way. So today, if you look at global commerce, you see a very small number of large corporates that control all the global parcel delivery. And coming from a technical background, I have a strong belief that decentralization is a very good concept to use anywhere possible. And recent technologies, specifically Bitcoin and blockchain technologies allow us to decentralize many things. And the Packet Project basically comes as a way to solve this centralization that happens in the global delivery. So what we create is a global, open, free, decentralized network that anyone can participate in. There's absolutely no cost to participate in the network. And any participant, any courier can take part in this network, and we create kind of a global mesh of different local providers and create a global mesh of deliveries. So basically, if I want to send a package from New York to, let's say, London, a local guy in New York will be able to take the package locally and take it to the airport. From there, it will go to Heathrow Airport, and then a local guy will do it in London. The problem that large companies doing global delivery has, the largest problem is the last mile problem. It's actually getting the USB cable you ordered from China to your doorstep or your mobile phone or whatever. That's very labor intensive and very complex thing. If you think of let's say DHL or FedEx, they have this huge fleet of airplanes traveling all around the world. But when they land in Tel Aviv or Boston or anywhere, they have these trucks trying to figure out the best possible route within the city. They have to find the person at home, knock on his door, etc. And that's very costly and inefficient for them. On the other hand of the spectrum, we have the local couriers who actually solve this problem very well. I'm living in Tel Aviv. There's this guy around here, Moshe, everybody knows him. He takes all the packages all around. But if you would like to send something for me globally, you cannot connect with him. You're looking for a global solution. Our network allows the local Moshe guy and Joe in Manhattan and everybody in between who are expert and they're perfect and they're doing great, efficient work in their area to connect together and create this global mesh, this global network that allows to take your package from anywhere in the world in a decentralized way without any central authority taking any commission from it, etc.
It does seem like a particularly good use of blockchain technology. Explain a little bit about how the blockchain technology will be embedded into this business model.
So the most important aspect that we solve within our protocol that everything is based upon is the way that these different couriers who are not familiar with each other can trust each other with the delivery. Because if I want to pay for someone to deliver a package to you, I want my payment to be paid only when you approve cryptographically that you received the package. So only you can approve this. But if the package changes hand throughout the route, those people are trusting, those couriers are trusting each other, and they have to trust each other to know that the package actually is delivered to you. And blockchain technology allows us to have this kind of formal trust between parties who are not part of the same global company. They're not trusty because they signed an employment agreement with some company, but they can trust each other because all of these transactions are basically created in smart contracts on a blockchain or ledger technologies. So we solve actually two problems in our protocol. We solve the payment problem. So when I'm assigning, all the payments are used with our token. So when I'm assigning 100 tokens for the delivery, it solves the question of how exactly to distribute these tokens between the different couriers on the way. And the other problem that it solves is that it ensures that each courier along the way commits a certain amount of tokens that I decided that they should commit to the parcel. They can, of course, not commit it and not accept the parcel. But if we reach an agreement, they take when they take the parcel, it's only after they committed the sort of insurance, the collateral for the parcel. And that ensures that even though I'm giving this package to my local carrier through this chain of smart contracts, by the time it reaches you, it's all the time it was, the payment was insured to all of the people, and they're all use a collateral when they're holding the package to ensure safe delivery up to your hands.
What is the device or technology that would be used to hand off a package from Moshe, say, to DHL? How does that handoff happen in such a way that the blockchain reflects that transfer?
So, of course, the protocol is a very low level on the blockchain, just like TCP/IP is a very low level protocol, which the web runs on. But in order to operate a web browser, you don't have to know TCP/IP, you just use a browser. So we have a layer of applications that we develop, and they're completely open source. We encourage and incentivize other people to develop their own local solutions based on our solution or their own solutions. And what these applications will do, they'll expose a user interface for the end user. So next week in October, we're starting a local proof of concept that will send more than 100 packages around Israel and the world. And it will use a handheld application. So basically, when you meet another courier and you want to give it or give it off in some hub and leave the package there, basically your application links with the other application through a QR code. The other application uses the QR code to see the information about the package. But it also doesn't kind of trust you blindly. It goes also to the ledger to make sure that the smart contracts really says, okay, now I will really get, let's say, 20 tokens if Devin at the end will sign his signature. So the whole application will use basically right now mobile applications. Other companies, let's say large courier companies, can develop their own handheld devices which link to this protocol. The API is completely open. Talking about working with a company like DHL or FedEx is very interesting because on the first phase, we can use these companies without actually engaging them. And what I mean by that is that, for example, if we set up a hub, let's say in Ben Gurion Airport in Tel Aviv, and a different hub, another hub in, let's say, Heathrow Airport in London, we can put someone in Israel who will send daily, he'll send packages just to the hub in London. Now, he will be able to use DHL or FedEx or any of these companies, which are actually very efficient in traveling between airports. It's the last mile problem that is very hard for them to solve. So he will get very, very good price for sending something very standard daily between airports. That's a very good price that he can get. And then he can take some of the packages, aggregate them together and use FedEx for that leg without actually FedEx knowing that it's actually going to be dispensed at several places back in London. There's a lot of companies actually doing this sort of aggregation all around the world. For example, in Israel, it's common to order stuff from the United States. For example, there's a company sitting in New Jersey. It gives you a virtual address, combines all the packages together and send them together to Israel. So that's something that's very easily done. And we use the network to allow anyone to participate in this game.
Excellent. Now, this is a brilliant idea, how far have you gone from idea and planning stage to implementation? Where are we on that spectrum? You talked about sending test packages next month.
Yeah, so the proof of concept going to happen next month will actually use real cryptocurrency technology, the basic cryptocurrency technology. That's what we developed in the last, I would say, year or so. And all the transfers will be marked in the ledger. All the smart contracts will be there. Of course, not all of the couriers will be people who would like to use tokens for delivery and stuff like that. There's definitely more stuff that we have to develop in the application. And we expect more developers and more parties to participate in that. But the base core technology is already there. We develop it on a blockchain called Stellar, a bit different than the more popular Ethereum or Bitcoin blockchain. We chose it because it's very cheap and very fast and we really trust it. But we're also agnostic to the kind of technology that we use underneath. If a different technology will emerge, we can just as well use that. But we're very advanced in that stage. The rest of the development in terms of applications, again, it's something that we very openly develop. All of the code, including now, is already in GitHub and is available to anyone to pull out, create his own version, translate it to its own language, even connect it to its local currency. Let's say you're some guy in Italy, you want to translate it to Italian and connect it to the local credit card system, and maybe even earn money from that. We don't care. As long as you use our Packet platform, you're just part of it. You just made it much better and much more, increase the utility of it.
Excellent. So when do you expect to start seeing public packages shipping on the platform?
We advertised this little proof of concept that we would like to use to do here, and the market responded very wildly. Everybody got very excited. There is a chance that this proof of concept will become an ongoing thing. Now, the utility of this network, in order for it to be effective, it's really dependent on the amount of nodes and hubs and participants. And it's very obvious that initially, when very few people are aware about it, there's not a lot that you can do it, just as Bitcoin was in the first 3 years, let's say, of its existence. But as time goes by and more people use it, and the more local couriers are starting to use this network and join it, the utility grows up very, very fast. So one of the things that we are now working on is how exactly to bootstrap it. So it's so we're trying to raise funds in order to create the initial hubs and locations around the world that we will create to allow all of this commerce to start rolling. But I expect it to be in real high utility just in a few more years. On the other hand, I think it will have value in less than 6 months, I'd say.
Right. As you know, I focus my coverage on social entrepreneurship, impact investing. And so I think about how can your technology impact global poverty, global health, climate change? What's your reaction? So actually, when we talk about the problem of the last mile, it's a rich man's problem, because a lot of the global companies say that they cover the entire globe, but in reality, rural areas are not really covered by global companies. I think something like 47% of the world's population is living in rural areas without any access to the world commerce. There's the term called the unbanked. I call it the uncommerced. These are people who have skills, they can develop, they can create stuff, but there's no way for them to participate in this global trading, global trade. And that's part of the reason why we see a constant decline in extreme poverty, but we're showing very large increase in inequality. And just by being able to connect these uncommerced people to the world commerce, I think there's a huge effect to it. And if you think about it, there's no reason why not to do it, because I traveled in South America. There's remote places in Africa, in Asia.
there's always some local guy with a truck. There's some local guy who's carrying stuff for people. That's just one of the functions that's going on in these places. If you give this person a device where he can assemble stuff from his area, connect to someone with a bigger truck that's going to maybe to the main city, if they're all connected to this completely free network, immediately this village now becomes part of this global trade, really part of this global trade, and they can set their own prices. The Packet project doesn't set prices, that it's a completely open solution. So first of all, this connects everybody to this network without having any sort of a gatekeeper or anything like that that takes commission, stuff like that. The other effect that it has is that it significantly, I think, reduces carbon dioxide emission, because now it's much more efficient to, if you want to dispense 100 packages in a small city, it's much easier to do it with bicycles or bikes than to take a truck and find the best route, etc. So there's an impact about that. And I think that another aspect of it is is not couriers, professional couriers, but just think of people who just travel around the world, and often it's a very common case that people will help you out, will transfer something that you need. But this will give a very simple framework that everybody can use to deliver stuff, and it can help deliver stuff to places that tourists are going anywhere. There's GMOs in Africa. There's always people anywhere, and they can, if they have a system that can easily transfer stuff between them, you can think of it as a way to deliver food, but also drugs and other stuff to rural areas. So there's a lot of aspects that can impact socially the developing world.
Yeah, fantastic. Oren, you've had a spectacular career. What are you most proud of having accomplished?
Beside my personal relationship, my 2 kids, and these obvious things, I think I'm glad that I'm keeping myself hungry in a way. I'm still excited about doing stuff. I'm still, I know, maybe crazy enough to think that I can do something that really changed the world for the better. And I'm, waking up every morning excited to be able to do that. I think this constantly moving forward, that's the thing that excites me. I was part of very interesting projects and amazing companies, but for me, it's always what's the next thing that I can do to improve the world. And I'm not looking at it as from a point of view of how I can make people feel better. I'm looking at it more from a nerdy kind of point of view, like an engineer. I know that large systems are better when they're decentralized. They're much more complex and much more, they require much more complex solution and more intelligent solutions than simple centralized solution. But for me, when I know this and I'm trying to apply this to things, I think it's better for everybody, basically. I'm a great proponent of moving the power to the people, not as some lefty kind of notion, but because I think it's more efficient as a geek. That drives me.
What is the most important lesson you've learned in your career?
I learned a lot of lessons. My scars, my battle scars show them. I think I've learned the value of a lot of things, of listening to the market, of ignoring the market when sometimes, of knowing how to make plans, knowing how to change your plans when needed, how to raise much more funds than you ever think you'll need, how to hire only the best people that are excited as you about what you're doing. I think the things I learned are all the things that I was taught when I was very young, but it took, but every decade, I think I'm starting to understand more that I understand them. And I think in 10 or 20 years, I'll understand them even better. Why
Did you feel personally responsible to fix global shipping?
It's funny because it does sometimes feel like that. I've started with cryptography, with cryptocurrency technologies about 4 or 5 years ago, creating one of the first implementation of something called colored coins based on Bitcoin, based on a white paper that I think Vitalik Buterin actually wrote. And I created this implementation, managed this implementation for a few months and reached the proof of concept, and was exposed to Bitcoin and realized that in terms of engineering, the decentralized money is solved. Of course, it will take more years that everybody will know about it, later use it, but engineerically speaking, it's solved. But I was very bothered because commerce is always interests me, and I was bothered because now I can pay anyone in Afghanistan even. I can pay him, no one can stop me from paying him, but if he created a vase that I want to buy, he doesn't have a decentralized ways of sending it to me. So I came up with the idea of creating a global delivery network based on Bitcoin, but it wasn't decentralized. So I used decentralized money, but I still created a centralized company that takes commission from all of it. And when I realized it, I kind of froze the project. And until about a year and a half ago, when it was more common to create tokens and create DAOs and decentralized kind of organizations, I realized that that's the right scheme to create the thing that I want. It's creating a protocol that I don't personally own or control or gain commission from it. And once I realized this idea, now I cannot not do it. Now I feel responsible for I cannot deprive this thing from the world. And if you tell me tomorrow that there's a group that's already doing it and they're much advanced and they're much advanced on the way and something like that, I will go and help them do it because I think it should be done. It doesn't necessarily have to be me. But looking at a lot of startups in the fields, I haven't seen anything quite like this solution. And I feel that I cannot. It sounds funny to say that, but I cannot deprive the world from being able to do it. Whether I succeed, whether we all succeed together is a question to be asked, but we're definitely working hard to achieve it.
What is your superpower, Oren?
Wow, I don't know that I have one. I think the two things that I do well are in this me, and one of them is technology, and the other one is people. So I'm 46 now, and since I was 17, I was doing software development. So that's almost 30 years now. And I believe I have, a deep understanding and experience in software development. And in the last, 20 years, I managed software development and technological companies. And I have a feeling I'm doing both of these things pretty well. But just as well, I can tell you that my social skills, for example, I don't have a great network. I know my problems, I have strong background in technology and management, but I still have to rely upon other people's skills in marketing, in sales, and in other fields as well.
Fantastic. Well, Oren, we thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. I know it's getting late there in Tel Aviv. Before you go, would you take just a moment to tell our audience about how they can learn more about the Packet Project?
So our website is up. It's packet.global, just PAKET.global. And the website has a link to our white paper information about our small community on Telegram. There's my email is Oren, O-R-E-N, @packetglobal. You can definitely contact me. We have a Twitter page that are all linked from our website, which hopefully in the next few weeks it will grow a bit and have more information about the upcoming applications and stuff like that.
Fantastic. Well, Oren, again, we thank you very much for taking the time to be with us and wish you every success in streamlining global package shipments, especially so that we can reach more people around the world who are completely disconnected from the global economy.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me.
All righty. Let's do some good.
Thank you for listening. Devin Thorpe's mission is to end extreme poverty, improve global health, and mitigate climate change before 2045 by finding and sharing the stories of those who are doing the most good. You can join with other listeners to accelerate Devin's mission by visiting helpdevin.org right now.